Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69 and welcome back to channel. Today we're going to be having a look at the T110E3. At the moment, this is one of my favourite tier 10s. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Now just watch this shot on the chieftain. I knew he was hull down, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to splash a bit of HE at him just so I know I can do damage. And I do almost 1,000 damage. I managed to hit his hatch on top. Very troll. But this tank is an absolute beast. Wargaming buffed it. They buffed the speed of the tank. They made it OP, and not only that, they then went and gave it the consumable that makes it go quicker. The speed consumable. Yeah, logic 101. It didn't need it. It doesn't need it. It absolutely doesn't need that boost, that speed boost consumable after they buffed the speed of the tank. It's an absolute monster, and I love this tank. If you can get in on a map like we are here on mines, use it as a heavy. Don't use this tank as a TD. It's not a TD. Ignore the icon. It is not a TD. This thing is a turretless heavy. Use it as a heavy. Don't go sitting at the back of the map and sniping. It's not made for that. It's not made to sit at the back and snipe. It's not that kind of TD. This TD is like it's a super heavy. It's a super heavy. Get front line and take them shots and just bully the enemy. Bully the enemy like we're doing here. We are hull down. Yes, we've lost a lot of our hit points, but we bounced 3,600 damage here. That is, I'm doing my job. As an E3, that is your job, to bounce shots, because the hatch on top of this thing, people think that they can pen it, which they can if they get the right spot. Of course they can. Sorry there, Lopany, good friend of mine in the E50M. I see you flanking around. I'm not stupid. So front line at all times. At all times, front line. Of course, you need to be careful of your surroundings. Make sure you've got the hard cover, because you haven't got a turret. But when you've got that speed boost, you can get around pretty quickly. Now, once upon a time, this was the worst tier 10 in the game, without a doubt. When I first bought this tank, I sold it. I bought it back to make a video. I sold it again. And ever since Wargaming buffed the speed of the thing, this thing is I think personally it's OP. It's one of the tanks in tier 10 I worry about coming up against. I worry about coming up against this more than I worry about coming up against Death Stars or Jaegeroos or Grills. Like, this thing is just a monster. It really is a monster, and definitely for me the best tier 10 TD. Definitely the best tier 10 TD, and at the moment, other than the Leopard, this is probably my favourite tier 10. I've got other favourites like the FV4202 with the Hesh, obviously the T62A, but this is up there after the Leopard one. Probably, actually, not even just tier 10. It's probably my second favourite tank in the game right now after the Leopard one. This is a tank I go to if I'm playing tier 10, not just to make footage. If I'm playing tier 10, this is a tank I regularly go to just to have some fun. Get on these ridges. I mean, here we are on a ridge, and we are going for the medium tanks. We're going to try and bully these medium tanks. That was a shit shot. There. But we got the guy there, the T54E1. Boom, 1,000 HE into the rear of him, and as you can see, we are playing front line. And this game actually triggered me, because I thought I did actually a pretty good job. Get some good damage. I'm not camping. I am as front line as my whole team is. I've got a couple of mediums to the right of me. I've got a couple of TDs to the left of me, and I'm not taking any shots at the moment. I'm going to try and deal with these TDs. There we go. Another HE into the rear of the Peugeot, and we do over 1,000 damage. And now we are going to push the T30. Now, you're probably going to, if you play this tank right, you're probably going to bounce more shots than you get penned. Doesn't mean it is impenetrable. You're not immune from getting shot, which we're going to see in the next replay from a good friend of mine, Dave, or Daver, Adam. It's not, you're not invincible. You're not invincible. So bear that in mind. I mean, I always come in at an angle like that. I can see the Death Star was trying to shoot me, and the bottom plate is weak. It's still strong. The bottom plate is still strong, but it is. People can pen it. People can pen it. So I always go in at them kind of angles. If you've got a tank, especially a big TD, if you've got a big TD looking at you, try and just angle the bottom of your tank. If you've got no cover, just try and go in at an angle, but not too much of an angle so they can hit your track wheel, because that can be penned. Now, at this stage in the game, it's a 6 versus 1. I'm actually on 5.3k damage. I thought I'd done a pretty good job. And you can see at these kind of angles, of course, he's gonna penetrate the bottom plate, no problem. So we haven't got a kill, which is a shame. We haven't got a kill. I'm hoping to get one more shot in on this this E100, which we do, and that actually puts us on 6.5k damage. We blocked 1500 damage, so we blocked a little bit, not too much, because one of them was the Death Star, so we didn't block too much, but we didn't really get shot too much. And that was only a first class. I thought, how? Like, come on, 6.5k damage. I was front line. If I got 6.5k damage camping at the back of the map, then I'd understand. But I was front line, man. Like, give me the ace. Give me the ace. But it wasn't to be. So this game is, we are watching Adam, and this game shows just the strengths of the tank, how good the tank can be, but also that you're not immune to getting shots. People can from getting shot. Sorry, they can easily penetrate you if they take their time, if they don't rush their shots and they aim at the weak points. Now, there is a weak point on the right side, or your right side of the tank. There's like a hatch, there's a tiny hatch, viewport or whatever it is, that can actually be HE'd. But a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know where to hit. Obviously the good players, the really good players, they know exactly where to hit. And I've come up against Death Stars before where I've been sort of face hugging them, and they've managed to do sort of 1300 damage shooting the right side of my tank, or their left side. So Adam he's going to have a brilliant game. Now, he's a good friend of mine on Discord. I think this may have been his highest ever damage game. I'm hoping it is. Well, I think it is, and it is going to be a heartbreak. It is going to be an absolute heartbreak. But he does all he can do. He does as much as he can do. But sadly for him, his team literally just vanish. They vanish, and when you are in E3, even though it is OP and a fantastic tank, but when you're on your own against 2 or 3 tanks, then that is when it becomes very difficult, because you haven't got that turret. So Adam is now, he's done a little bit of damage so far, a couple of shots, 1600 or 1800 damage. He's waiting to see if he can get that shot on the Progetto. He has the HE loaded. Can he get it? Of course he can. A 1200 max roll into the rear of that Progetto, putting him down to a 1 shot. And a little bit of a troll in there, a happy face in on the chat. I don't normally do that. I think that is a little bit disrespectful when you get a shot like that, but you know, it's nothing too bad. He gets a nice snapshot there to clear the Progetto as well. So far now, he's on a kill, 3.5k damage. The enemy are capping the base. Is he gonna use his speed boost to get there quickly? Because they're on 75, 77. He needs to get this shot. Is he gonna get it? Yes. Lovely, lovely shot there. Now he puts that guy, the E50M, down to a 1 shot as well. Unfortunately, his platoon mate is up there on his own against a low quite a few tanks. Can't quite get that shot off on the WZ, but he's going to wait. Is the Sheridan going to back up enough? No, at the moment he's not. The Sheridan, I don't think, is that stupid. He's actually a good player, know him very well. From the TXT clan, but so far now his team, look, I mean, they've just disappeared. They've just absolutely disappeared, and it is now a 3 versus 5. He's got tanks behind him, tanks in front of him, and there we go with the bounces. Now the Sheridan is going to rush him. He can't quite get that reload in on time to clear the Sheridan. But the Sheridan, I just said, like, he's a great player, and then he does that. I don't know if he thought he was reloading or not, but he does manage to clear him. So now, so far, he's on 5.5k damage. Now he's going to help his teammate try and deal with the WZ. And at the minute, I mean, you're thinking, you know, this, now he gets that kill. against another good player. It's a 2, or it was a 2 versus 1. But one of them, the E100, isn't a great player. He's now on 6k damage, but he has a full hit point T57 heavy to try and deal with. Not a great tank to come up against, especially as an auto loader. If he can get behind him, that was a bad bounce. I don't know how that bounced. That was very, very, very troll. And these guys, even though I've just said that E100 isn't the best players, I love what Adam's doing here. I absolutely love what Adam's doing here. He's trying to angle from the T57 heavy, and he knows now the T57 is on a reload, so he's going to try and deal with the E100 whilst that guy is on a reload. So it is a shame that he bounced that T57 when he did. The E100 is a bit stupid there. He should have just stayed where he was. I mean, he is running the shit gun. But again, I love what Adam's doing here. He knows that the E100 is on a reload. The T57 has reloaded, but unfortunately, he can only face one tank. And the T57 has made it so he has to move away from the E100. And even though the E100 is he's got the shit gun, there's not much you can do. You haven't got no rear armor in this thing, and unfortunately, he doesn't survive. Maybe if he would have played a little bit different, that could have been a different outcome, but still a fantastic battle. 8k, and it was only a first class. So that is the E3, guys. If you haven't grinded this tank, it's definitely worth the grind. A fantastic tier 10. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you soon.